Hello, everybody. Hello. How are you doing? It is 7:31 on a Monday night, the 21st of April, 2025. Hope you've had a great day today, and you had a great Easter weekend. It was a fabulous weekend to celebrate the resurrection and Jesus, if you do celebrate Easter. But if not, it was still a great weekend. But if you had a family or friends over for Easter, hopefully you had a great day on Sunday, which it was very. So tonight we've got some clouds and we've got some wind. I'm meteorologist Noah Bergren with Fox 35. Appreciate some of y'all watching on YouTube and on Facebook as well. And if you're on our Facebook, if you don't mind clicking the share button, forgive all my fingerprints, you click this little button here, and then share now, and share with your friends. What's up, Scott Allen? Hi, Scott Allen. How are you? Thanks for checking in, buddy. Hope you're doing well. We've got a few things to talk about tonight, including record heat for the weekend, how long the drought will last, and then also taking a look at the long-range data into June. In May, are there any signs of tropical mischief, and when the rain's going to finally come back. So we're also on our YouTube page. Hello to our 20 of you watching. If you're on the YouTube channel, give me a like, a shout out in the comment section. Would love to hear from you. I love talking to y'all. So I hope you had a great Easter weekend. We've got lots of weather to talk about tonight. And the first thing is some clouds out there. And actually, if you look on the camera to the right of me, there's a lot of clouds, actually. And these are cirrus clouds that have kind of just filtered and muted the sky. And they'll be with us again tomorrow. But they're very misleading. There's not going to really be any chance of rain from those. Now let me take you on the high-res visible satellite, and I'll back you up to earlier today. Now, I want you to notice on here, these were big thunderstorms. I'll circle this. Let me make this pin into, what do you say? We'll make it pink. Make it a hot pink. How's that sound? Match my tie. So obviously you see Florida. Florida's right here. But the earth is black, so where there's no clouds, it's black. Look at all these big billowing thunderstorms over here over the western Gulf and Louisiana. Those storms today. What's up from Deltona, Maggie Ponce? How are you, Maggie? Appreciate you watching. Hope that you watch us all the time for your weather here. Fox 35 from Deltona. I was just through Deltona yesterday. We went to the Tortugas game and stopped on the way back. Hope you had a great day yesterday. For your Easter, Maggie. But you can see these cirrus clouds right here just pushing east, and these are in this west to east flow across the Gulf, and they're way high up. I mean, these suckers are like 40,000 feet up in the sky. I mean, they're way up there. And you can see that the big billowing thunderstorms here. I'll take this full so you can see it. Those big billowing right thunderstorms over New Orleans and Louisiana. So just a few cirrus clouds, and this is a big thunderstorm complex out over here in the western Gulf. But as the sun is setting, you can see we've got these kind of just high-level, thin, wispy cirrus clouds, and that's what it looks like to the bottom of my little box here. Just kind of causing a nice sunset tonight. But you may have wondered what they were. Not going to cause any rain. We do have a launch here actually coming up tonight. This is a part of the Bandwagon 3 mission at about 8:48 p.m. And this should go off without a hitch. I don't see any weather issues for this. Now, I'm going to tell you some more about the Bandwagon 3 mission. So this is a ride-sharing program, which essentially puts smaller satellites onto a payload with other things, and that's a cost-saving measure. Essentially, it's a ride-sharing mission. Think about it like Uber for a satellite. So the main mission is not. It's a multi-mission thing tonight, which you can see. From Cape Canaveral, coming up at 8:48, and you probably see that from a far away. So, at least my Florida notables for you tonight are the following. There's not really a lot to talk about other than the fact it's dry, and it's going to get drier. I don't think most places in Florida see rain until probably at least May 1st. Maybe even if not later. I mean, there's some data that suggests we'll go through that. No rain until even like the middle of June. So it's dry and getting drier. That's the first notable for you tonight. The fire risk is high, and it will remain high indefinitely. That's not going to change anytime soon. Now, on days where the humidity is lower and the winds are gustier, it'll be a little, locally higher, but the fire risk is high regardless. But the weekend, I'm actually considering going to the beach. I'm a beach bum myself. I can't read on the beach, but I just sit there and fish or just sit there happy as a clam. It's a great early season beach weekend in Florida this upcoming weekend, especially on Sunday. Speaking of the beach, there's the view tonight from Daytona, and there's surprisingly not a lot of people. It is the Jeep Week, which there are tens of thousands of people from all over. Temps now are in the mid-70s at the beaches, mid-80s inland. If you have comments or questions, I'd love to see you on here. What's up? Minerva Santiago, good job. Well, I appreciate you. Chelsea Gary from Daytona. Chelsea, how are you? We were at the Tortugas game last night, me and two friends. It was actually quite fun. I'm not going to lie, it was a blast over in Daytona. A little breezy yesterday in Daytona, I felt that for sure. Appreciate you, Maggie. That's nice of you to say, but we watch all of us here on the weather for Fox on 35. Let me see the YouTube channel. Orlando checking in. Mr. Opinion on YouTube. What's going on, my friend? How are you? There's about 30 of y'all on the YouTube channel. So let me give you something that you might not know about. I'll show you the 7-day, then we'll roll up our sleeves and do some hardcore weather. How's that sound? Because there actually is something to talk about. There's always something to talk about. But before we do that, here's the 7-day forecast. I'll take you this full so you can see. There's no chance of rain. I've left it absent around Orlando. The weekend, we're talking about 93 Sunday. Yeah, look at that, 93 Sunday. Average high is about 85. Record high Sunday's 95. So we'll be close to record territory on Sunday. And I do think that forecast might get adjusted up just a little bit as we get closer. So that'll be something that we watch pretty closely. Do we get record territory for heat on Sunday? Here's the Cocoa Beach 7-day over the next few. And notice it's not quite as hot, obviously. But it'll be a lot gustier than in inland areas, probably like 20-ish mile an hour all the way through Saturday. The wind subsides Sunday, Monday. Teeniest chance of a shower over the weekend at the beaches. But look at Sunday. 85 at the beach, mostly sunny. Sign me up. Yes, please. That's a beach day. That is a beach day. But here is the Orlando-specific 7-day. This is handmade with love. No AI. Yes, this is all handmade by each of our meteorologists on staff every shift. We do think low to mid-90s are likely for the weekend. And everybody's working for the weekend. Across America tonight, there is a lot of warmth to speak of. I mean, look up to the north. It's only 53 in Chicago. That's the really only odd spot where there's not as warm air. It's 50 in New York. They had 80s this weekend in New York City and Connecticut. They were like, everybody was dancing in the streets for joy because it was like the first warm day of the year in the tri-state. So that was notable this weekend. Some severe weather last night in Missouri. It didn't produce a lot of tornadoes. There were a few in Arkansas into Kansas. But things, looked really, really good today. I mean, most places are just warm and quiet. I mean, you can look across the country. I mean, some severe weather last night. Yeah, there's warmth, but the point is the cold has retreated, and it's pretty much done for right now. So let me show you the temperatures tonight. We're looking at probably mid to high 60s. Yeah, I love it too, Maggie. Now, if you have a comment, please put it in. I just want to say hello. I know there's more of you on Facebook and our YouTube watching. Just let me hear a shout. How are you? If you have any question about the weather, literally anything, I am an open book. I'd like to think I'm easygoing and laid back. I do take my job seriously, but you can ask anything. So if you have a question, please ask it. Pick the town out closest to you tonight. You can see the temperatures there. We're talking about 66 in Sanford, 64 DeLand, 66 in Daytona Beach, and the temps tomorrow, probably low 90s inland. I guess there could be a touch of fog in the inland locations. Candidly, I don't think there's going to be much. We'll see. Talking about 66 and heads up if you're in the Ocala and Gainesville area early in the morning tomorrow. I suppose there could be a little bit of fog, but we'll say about 91-ish inland, then low 80s at the beaches. Cool in Michigan today, Peg. Yeah, there was storms over the last few days, and now cold up there in Michigan. But let's roll up our sleeves and do some meteorology here. What do you say? So here's the long-range pattern, and this is going to be the long-range pattern into about June 1st. And now, while this does not mean it's going to be 0 inches of rain until this point, south of that black line, which is the jet stream, it's really dang dry and hot. So South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, it is hot and dry. Michigan, upstate New York, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas, Oklahoma, especially Iowa, Wisconsin, it's really wet and a really active start to late season severe weather for the spring, which is going to be pretty notable, I do think, up there. So here is the high-res visible satellite tonight. I'll show you this. This is from our friends at NOAA and the College of DuPage Meteorology. You can see as the sun is setting, obviously the image is getting darker. Let me extend this out a little bit further for you so you can see. You can see all those all of the clouds kind of just emanating in from the Gulf. These are really high. I mean, these clouds are like 40 to 50,000 feet, as I said earlier, and that's setting. Obviously, the image is getting darker. Let me extend. Kind of where they're going to stay. You know, we've got these clouds. You see them coming in here, just moving from southwest to northeast. If you look over here off the east coast, you can see the difference. Like the atmosphere is a cake. See these clouds off of Cape Canaveral? They're moving from east to west. So the wind near the ground, the lowest 10,000 feet of the atmosphere is moving east to west. Yet the wind up aloft is moving from southwest to northeast. That's why the clouds are going west to east across Florida out there tonight. So let me show you the jet stream right now. We'll show you that. So this is also from NOAA. So here we are on Earth. I love this visual because it's really cool to see. So why is the weather the way it is right now? Well, the jet stream is really far north right now, which it's kind of more like a July pattern. So here's the jet stream, and you can see it from here's Eastern Asia and Europe and China. This is the jet stream. Think of this the highway of winds. You see it right here where my mouse is. It's right here from Seattle to Chicago. That's what is driving the weather systems. And if we were in an El Nino, we would see the tropical jet stream a lot stronger. There's no really even sign of it. It's really weak. You see here from Hawaii to Baja. I mean, there's a little hint of the jet stream, but the main jet stream right now, you see here, is you just see across the northern part of the globe. It's very strong and robust, but not over Florida. That will change at some point. It will change at some point, and we will get some active weather in here, but it's going to be a while. So let me show you the long-range temperature. Actually, change that. We'll do the precip anomaly. So here it is through June 6th. And I know what some of you are going to say, oh, come on. You can't tell me the weather through June 6th. You can't even tell me it tomorrow sometimes. That's true. In meteorology, a lot of things that don't get explained very well. And one thing that does not is that actually our ability to forecast big patterns at long ranges is actually quite good. Because there's a lot less error in determining the hemispheric pattern over 5 weeks than where's there going to be a pop-up thunderstorm that produces a tornado tomorrow, because it's such a small scale thing. Anyways, here is the rain anomaly, and I'll tell you what, I'll pull this up like this for you. This is the rain anomaly through June 6th, and I want you to look and see where there's brown and red, we're below average, and where there's green, we're above. Look over Florida in the southeast, it is very dry. This is through June 6th, so 46 days from now, we're still talking about worsening rain deficits. Now, if you look over here in the Caribbean, there's some signs of really above average rain anomalies. That's something to keep an eye on. I haven't really mentioned this on TV because I don't want to work people up, and I don't want to create any unnecessary hype. So those of you who are on our Fox local stream now, and on YouTube and on Facebook, you're getting the behind the curtain meteorology here, which is part of the point of the stream, to give you more detail and long form. There has been some signals for some early season, and this fits what pretty much everybody has stated for the hurricane season, that there could be two things, if you missed it. Tracking closer to Florida in the eastern U.S. this year, meaning the steering flow guides things to Florida as opposed to recurving. And there could be a lot of, obviously there's probably going to be several major hurricanes again, as the forecast calls for. But this season may be one where there's a lot of weak, homegrown systems that form close to the U.S., meaning tropical depression storm that just kind of form and, they could still be really impactful. But and if you look at the rain anomaly here, look at all this blue in the Caribbean. Almost always, because I've looked at this plot for years now. Now, granted, I lived in the Midwest before here, but I am very familiar with this model's accuracy. This probably is picking up on some kind of series of tropical depression-y type things later in May or early June in the Caribbean. But notice they don't really track to Florida, at least on this run today. So the point is, although the most likely thing is we're still really dry in Florida and the southeast, it's really wet up in Wisconsin, Michigan, and the Ohio Valley for storms. I'm kind of just putting my stake in the road here that it would not surprise me if there was a very fast and early start to the tropical season this year, and in the name of weak systems. That doesn't mean they can't be impactful, tropical depressions and storms, but seeing that big anomaly like that in the Caribbean, you really would only get that if there were a lot of low pressures that probably would be tropical depressions or storms. Is it going to happen 100%? I don't know. I think it may, but I'm just pointing it out to you. That's something to just keep an eye on. But at least as of today, that long-range thing doesn't guide them towards Florida, but we'll see. That was the European extended model. Here is the GFS extended model, and let me show you this. This goes through May 25th, and I want you to notice it's kind of got the same idea. Hi, Mom from Connecticut. It's kind of got the same idea where you've got very dry rain anomalies over Florida and the southeast. I'll take this full so you can see it. Very dry rain anomalies over Florida and the southeast. But look down here in the Caribbean. I want you to notice it's kind of got the same idea. And this is very wet
It's kind of got
rain
the same
anomalies,
idea,
which is
where you've
likely
got very
early
dry
season tropical mischief.
anomalies over Florida
And this is at
and
the end
southeast.
of May.
I'll take this full
So
extended.
my point is, don't be shocked
Look down here in the Caribbean.
if in a couple of weeks we're already starting to talk about things forming. There's no way of knowing if they would come to Florida or the U.S. There's no way of knowing that. But the point is, there's some signal, at least that's caught my eye, of some early season mischief in the Caribbean and southern Atlantic, which we will keep an eye on. It has my attention. Yeah, Maggie, hopefully the season won't be bad as last year. Bad is... We could talk for hours about, an hour about this, but the year that Hurricane Andrew happened, it was the first storm of the year, and it was hardly any other storms. I mean, it was the A-named storm that had happened in August. It only takes one. I know people say that all the time, and it's kind of cliche, but it is very true. So, what does bad mean? There could be 25 Cat 5s out in the Atlantic, and if they hit anybody, was it a bad season? I don't think so. So, bad is probably most defined as things hitting the U.S., which there's no way of knowing that this far out where they're going to hit. Now, in terms of the number, yeah, it's likely going to be above the historical average, but beyond that, there's just no way of knowing it, at least in my opinion. Let me look on our YouTube channel. We've got some other people watching. We're on Fox Local. Don't forget, tonight in Central Florida, we've got a launch coming up. This is exciting. We've got a launch that will be at about, I believe, 8:48, and this is going to be a good one, as it's going to be pretty visible on the East Coast. Should go up pretty good. Manny Martinez and myself will have coverage of that for you on the News Edge at 8. Let me see. Oh, on YouTube, we've got some people watching. Appreciate y'all watching. Let me look. Let's see. What's it look like in Northwest Florida, Pensacola, Destin area? Tricia Miller, 22A USA. For when? Let me know for when. The local pond is now dry. First time I've seen that happen. Birding trip. I was golfing Saturday. I'm trying now to make it my mission as a new Floridian. I guess not really new anymore, but trying to go to a new town once a week, or a new area of Central Florida and the state. And I've been trying to explore more, away from Orlando and Seminole County, which is where I live. I was over in Tavares and Eustis. And it's interesting, I was talking to some people there, and a lot of the retaining ponds are totally empty. And they've been so empty already for a while now that the bottom of the retaining pond is like cracked ground. It's not like it's just empty and the ground is still moist. I mean, there's retaining ponds that are really dry. It is interesting that birding trip, that is a common thing. Hi, Lizzie. How are you? Whoever said that about chemtrails, I don't know what to tell you there. Those are just planes going by. That is really about it. So let me look at some other things. So we got about 3 minutes left. Beautiful tonight, but some high-level clouds that have come by. This year in Orlando, we've only had about 5
I don't know what to tell you there.
90-degree days so far.
Those are just planes going by.
That's exactly average. In fact, we've had what is typical for this time of the year, which is 5 days already into the 90s. We will have a few more
beautiful tonight,
this weekend,
high-level clouds
but the average historically is about 135.
Orlando, we've only had about
So yeah, we're going to have about 130 more days in the 90s before the year is done. That's a lot of 90-degree days. The fewest ever was 56, and the most ever was 152 back in 1919. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let me look at the 7-day. I'll put this up for you. We've got to go here in about 2 minutes. Here's the handmade 7-day tonight. So again, tomorrow, talking about 91, 90 Wednesday, near 90 Thursday, near 90 Friday, maybe a little lower the temperatures Friday compared to Tuesday, Wednesday. The weekend heats back up because high pressure comes back over Florida. Now on Sunday, let me check the latest modeling. I've got a minute. Let me check real quick. Pull this up. So the models for Sunday are the following. I was looking all over the country. Let me put in MCO. Sunday, let's see. The GFS says 96. The Canadian model says 95. The German model says 97, and the European model for Sunday says 93. So the point is, our 93 forecast on Sunday is actually below a lot of the other models. So don't be shocked if that Sunday forecast trends up in the coming days. But it's going to be a hot weekend for sure in Central Florida. I appreciate you all watching on Fox Local, our Facebook page, and our YouTube channel. We'll see you tonight on the News Edge at 8, 10, and 11. But for now, I will let you all go. Appreciate you watching. Don't forget to put that Fox Local app on your smartphone. And we will have our hurricane special. The whole team is working hard on it. We will have that coming out at the end of May. So stay tuned for an update as to when that is going to air. For now, have a good rest of your night. Hope you had a great Easter weekend and enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks for watching. Local app on your smartphone, and we will have our hurricane special. The whole team is working hard on it. We will have that coming out at the end of May, so stay tuned for an update as to when that's going to air. For now, have a good rest of your night.